This is a microphone stand, one of them simple round base things. Then it connects into an adapter that makes it fit this phone holder thing. So it's too small, but it's on purpose because this will open up and clamp right inside. Now I can show you with this fancy phone thing that how it's possible to shoot a playthrough putting your face on the footage of the gameplay without OBS or Streamlabs or any software. So you have your computer. Your computer, mine is around the wall. You can't see it from here, but it has 3 outputs and has 3 outputs on 3 different kinds of connections: DisplayPort, HDMI, and what's the next one down? DVI or something like that. Basically, I've bought a bunch of adapter cables that on one end of the cable is the display port or the DVI, the other end is a HDMI. Don't have to run it into any converters. That sometimes is a necessity, but not in this case. Here's the primary monitor, an old TV. This is DisplayPort into HDMI because this TV doesn't have a DisplayPort connection. It's only HDMI. And then this is the second monitor. And then this little Blackmagic video camera assist is the third monitor. So in addition to showing the gameplay footage, you also need the gameplay sound. And sound and picture can be transmitted through HDMI. So I have a DVI coming out of the back of my computer, then switching into HDMI because this display thing here doesn't have DVI input. So they need these specialty cables. So there's a power switch on the side, and I turn that on. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It's this little tiny thing. It makes the computer now recognize 3 monitors at once. Now, if you think of 3 monitors, you could think of it as this really long rectangle that has these chops in 2 different parts, so that you can split it between these 3 different rectangles. Now, if I had gotten the primary monitor, that's going to start from this corner and go all the way to the triple monitor's bottom corner. So then I have a resolution that is, maybe it's the proper height, but it won't be the proper width. So what I end up having to do is record only exclusively, because this is the only way it'll work, that the system will recognize the video's dimensions, is by taking only the third monitor, because that's the one at the end. That's the one that they'll have the proper height and width. So it can't be the second monitor, it can't be the first monitor, it has to be the third. So that's why I have it set up this way. What's this thing doing here? I'll get to that later. But now that this thing is recognized as a monitor, you gotta go into your sound and make sure that it is switched to the BMD HDMI, because your computer wants to feed the sound through one of its monitors. So you gotta make sure that it's going through the third monitor so that it can pass the sound on to your capture card, so that you can hear Commander Keen jump and do all the music and all that stuff. So you will grab a Keen mod, drag it onto DOSBox, and then, of course, this is getting the batch folder, as you know, and then it'll open up, and you can probably pre-configure DOSBox to open up on full screen on the third monitor, but I haven't set that up yet. I'll need to look into that. So what you'll have to do then is to press Alt-Enter. I think it's Alt-Enter. And then that'll make it full screen. But it's on the wrong monitor because I can only record off of this. So I press Windows, Shift, and I gotta push the footage to the middle monitor and then to the third monitor, so it's that direction. So it's to the right. So I use the right arrow key, Windows Shift this way and then this way. And then you can see that the Commander Keen shows up on this screen here. Now this screen has output ports, which you don't have on regular TVs. TVs have all input ports, so you can feed signals into it, so it can display what you're feeding it into. But this little video assistant works so well as a third monitor because it can pass that footage and the sound on to the next thing. There's a little bar down here that has the audio meter that shows me that it's getting sound from the computer, as long as I have it switched properly there in the taskbar. So now I have to get this gameplay footage onto a capture card. It just so happens that this monitor here also can do that. It has an SD card slot, 2 of them, where you can record directly off of here. But then what are we missing? Me, the star of the show, the host, the face of the universe. Now, this is a Blackmagic Studio camera. It was you can take the lens off, replace it with lens. It's a micro four 4/3 thing. Don't buy cameras that don't have flippy screens, because then you can't see yourself. This one does not have a flippy screen. So this is very niche. It's a very if you never, because you want your camera to be multi-purpose. I'm gonna unscrew it off of here and carry it around and film things. You can't, because there's no way to see what you're filming if anything is in focus. So this is very much, I'm on this side of the lens always, and there's no need to have a cameraman. You could rig it out to have external whatever, and you don't even need to have this camera. I like this camera because it has an SDI output as well as an HDMI output. Where's the output of this camera going to? It is going to this video switcher. So now I think you can see that the camera is on, has the light on. It's me. How do I see what the camera is showing? Well, first we got to turn on the video switcher. This is the Roland 3G SDI video switcher, the V-1 SDI. There's also an HDMI version, but this also has HDMI inputs as well. So it does this blinky stuff. It starts blinking like crazy. And then after it stops blinking, it's ready to go. This is where this monitor comes in. I'm feeding the output of this box here so that I can see what I'm recording on a bigger screen. And so on camera 3, feed 3, I hope you can see that. Right? Now, a copy of this is being shown here, because this third monitor being fed into here as if it was a camera. The camera itself is being fed into here, so this is the video mixer. And hello, look at me. I'm here on the big screen because I'm switching the source of what feed I'm previewing it from the buttons here itself. So I'll press the picture in picture. I'll select the thing, and then I'll fade myself in. Ta-da! Now, one thing about these cameras, they need light. You need light like crazy. So I have these rack lights. It's kind of obnoxious. It's kind of in my eyes, but how else could you see me? And then I can reach forward and turn the thing. Yeah, okay. So you have the game, you have me, you're able to position it around with these rotary controls. You could switch it around like this. You can fade me out. You could do voice processing. In fact, that's the next thing to talk about. There are a bunch of different things you can use, but I use this mainly because it has these. It fits on my head more comfortably. Okay. Now, the other end of this cable is a TRRS. So it carries the microphone output, but then it comes back on, as headphones normally do, on a stereo input, so you can have right and left in either ear. So that's a TRRS, an extra ring. And so this then will go into an adapter that splits the output of the microphone and the headphones. The headphone section of this headset will go into the capture card, and the microphone will go into a voice changer kind of thing. It's not really a voice changer. I guess the better word would be voice processor, because it does reverb, it does all the sorts of things. You put this on and hello, you're talking to it, and then ta-da, here it is. Okay, you have your microphone sensitivity and you have the volume output. So that's awesome. The output of this machine on 1/4 inch cables then goes 1/4 inch into here. And if you turn this on as well, whoops, that kind of makes things bad on this monitor, doesn't it? Maybe I shouldn't do it in that order. This is a voice compressor. So when I get too loud, it's supposed to maybe quiet it a bit. And then if I get too soft, it's supposed to raise it up a bit, as a compressor would. It's supposed to have the audio from my voice more even across. so that you can hear what I'm saying, even though I don't ever say much. So the output of this is going into a DI box that's then switching the signal from 1/4 inch into RCA. And the RCA cables is going into the audio in of this video switcher. So this can take in 4 sources of video. It can also take in a microphone and audio channels. So the audio is being sent out of the main SDI video. So it's going to squish all the audios into all the audio and video into one and send it out, and it is being sent into this capture card. And this is the Blackmagic Hyperdeck Studio. That is the half rack size that specifically has the option to, well, there's a smaller one that doesn't have the headphone port, but this one does. Now it takes cards like these SDI cards. SDI, what am I saying? SDI is the video signal. This is just SD. Not without the I. So it has this row of data points or the connection point. And this SDI card has 2 rows of that, so it's like extra fast. But your computer and mine doesn't have a way to read these cards. So you've got to put it into a USB 3 adapter. It's blue on the inside, so you can put the card right in and then plug it into your computers and then get the file off and then drag it into YouTube and upload it for the daily show, right? So you take this card back out, stick it inside the Hyperdeck, be it off or on, and then it'll read the card. And then you can go into the menu, go over with the jog wheel to the storage page, press set, scroll all the way down to the last option, do the format media, and then it'll say select which card. There's a slot for 2 cards, and then do Mac OS or XFAT, which is what Windows does better with. We format the card, you're ready for recording. Okay, so ta-da, there it is. And then go out to menu. So if I would then put the headphones on, ta-da, ta-da, and then load the game. Here it is. I'm gonna look at this screen. I also see myself here in the top corner, the feed from the camera. Hello, hello. There's the camera, and I can see the bars rising here on the red. It's a little hot here. I have to put it down, and then when I get the levels right, I can see all the sound playing. If I'm quiet, there's the game audio. I can see the game on this little display screen, and then I press the big red button for record, and then I'm done with the level. I stop the record. I do the press record again, and then here's another episode. But eventually, at the end of the night, I will then pop this SD card out, put it in the adapter, plug it into the computer, move the files over onto the computer so that then I can drag it onto YouTube for uploading. So that is how the daily show is done. Let me turn off those obnoxious lights. I shouldn't ever record for more than an hour, because by that time everything is degraded, eyes are hurting from the lights, getting tired, fatigued. If you do record for that long, get up, take a break, stretch your legs, have a drink of water, and keep on keening.